Hey everybody, this is Roy Cannaday, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Phoenix pack for Marvel Champions. Let's get into it. Alright, let's take a look at Phoenix here for Marvel Champions. Alright, so Phoenix, let's see here on her Jean Grey side. Basically, you have a 3 recovery, and setup you put the Phoenix Force upgrade into play restrained side face up. Place 4 power counters on it, and as a response, when you do recovery, after you make a basic recovery, place 1 power counter on Phoenix Force. So Phoenix Force is a card we have here, which we'll talk about in just a second. And of course, she has a hand size of 6 and hit points of 9. And then Phoenix has 3 thwart here, 1 attack, and 2 defense. And then Psychic Bond, hero response, remove 1 power counter from Phoenix Force to generate a wild resource. Awesome, so allowing you to get cards into play with those wild resources. And then let's take a look at the actual Phoenix Force upgrade here. This is an upgrade that's a permanent. You gain the Restrained trait. Force response, after the last power counter is removed from here, you flip this card. So say you used them all up as wild resources, this would flip over, and then Phoenix Force would come out. This is a permanent. You gain the Unleash trait, and then Phoenix gets -2 attack, or -2 thwart, and +2 attack. After a power counter is placed here, if there's 4 or more power counters, flip this card back over. So if you recover enough or get enough counters back on here, then you're able to flip this back over, and then she would become restrained again. But it basically changes up her stats, changing it to 1 thwart and then 3 attack. So basically flipping that around. So yeah, that is Phoenix for that. And then a 2-cost upgrade here at Phoenix Suit. Phoenix gains the Aerial trait. If you have the Restrain trait, you gain Steady. If you have Unleash trait, you gain Retaliate 1. So depending on which state she's in, basically changes up how the card works. And then a Rise from the Ashes upgrade. This is a 3 cost. When you would be defeated, remove this card from the game. Ready your identity and restore it to its printed hit point value instead. Remove each power counter from Phoenix Force. So if you weren't unleashed before, you will be unleashed after this card comes out. But yeah, basically, if you die, you get to heal all the way back up. That seems awesome. Telekinetic Shield here. This is a 2-cost upgrade attached to a friendly character. When attached character would take damage from an enemy attack, place damage here instead. If there is at least 5 damage here, discard Telekinetic Shield. So able to help block people or help people from taking damage by shielding them. That's pretty awesome. Very thematic. Mental Paralysis. This is a 2-cost upgrade. Hero only attachment on a non-elite minion or hero form only. Attached minion cannot activate. After you flip to alter ego form, discard this card. So you're basically locking down a non-elite minion, making it so that they don't even activate at all. And then I missed a card here. Then Mind Control. This is a 4-cost upgrade attached to an elite minion. Take control of attached minion and treat it as a controlled ally with a blank text box. Its thwart is equal to its printed scheme, and it takes 1 consequential damage after it thwarts or attacks. Nice. Awesome. White Hot Room. This is a 2-cost support alter ego action. Exhaust White Hot Room and choose 1 to either place a counter on Phoenix Force or heal 2 damage from Jean Grey. So another cool way to heal or get those counters back that allow you to do more wild resource actions. That's awesome. Then a 2-cost event, Psychic Blast. Hero action, deal 4 damage to the villain. If you have the Unleash trait, deal 4 damage to each minion engaged with you. So if you're unleashed, you can Psychic Blast everyone, not just the villain themselves. You have 2 of those. And then Telepathic Trickery. This is a 2-cost event. Hero action, thwart, remove 4 threat from a scheme. If you have the Unleashed trait, stun and confuse the enemy. So you can see as you're unleashed, more and more things can happen with these cards, which make them more and more powerful. 3-cost event, Telekinetic Attack. Deals 7 damage to the enemy. If you have the Unleashed trait, this attack deals 2 additional damage and overkill. So, Unleashed just makes you that much stronger. Phoenix Firebird, 1-cost event. Choose 1, remove 1 power counter from Phoenix Force and ready Phoenix, or place 2 power counters on Phoenix Force. So allowing you to kind of manipulate how your little permanent thing there. You get 2 of those. And then Cyclops ally. This is a 3-cost ally. 2 thwart, 2 attack. After Cyclops enters play, place 2 power counters on Phoenix Force, so allowing her to calm down. And then Forced Interrupt. When Cyclops leaves play, you remove 2 power counters from Phoenix Force, which if he ends up dying off, she gets that much more angry. And then Marvel Girl. This is a 3-cost ally with 2 thwart, 1 consequential damage, 1 attack, 1 consequential damage with a thing that happens when she attacks. Interrupt. When Marvel Girl attacks a minion, remove X threat from the main scheme where X is the minion's printed scheme. So she's forcing them to scheme for you. That's awesome. And then Banshee is a 4-cost ally, 2 thwart, 2 attack, and then after he thwarts, you confuse the minion, so the minion won't be able to thwart back against you. And then here is the training for Justice here that we have. This is a 1-cost upgrade, mission training. Attached to an X-Men, max 1 training upgrade per ally. Attached ally gets +1 thwart and +2 hit points, allowing your allies to thwart more and stay on the board longer. I love these trainings. And then a 1-cost event here, Mutant Peacekeepers. Play only if your identity has the X-Men trait. Exhaust your hero and any number of X-Men allies and remove X threat from among the schemes where it's the printed total thwart for those characters, allowing you to exhaust a whole bunch of allies without them taking consequential damage and still removing a ton of threat. Dun, dun, dun. Then Swift Retribution. This is a 1-cost event. The villain schemes deal 4 damage to the villain. So basically you're allowing them to scheme, but you're going to be hitting them back. And I love that Gambit art on there with Wolverine in the background. That's like some classic X-Men awesomeness right there. Psychic Manipulation. This is a 3-cost event. Play only if your identity has the psionic trait. When the villain schemes, this activation removes threat instead of placing it. It's pretty cool. So, I mean, I don't know how useful it is for getting rid of 3 stuff, but it's just the theme of it is really cool. Just being like, oh, you're ruining your plans instead of making them more. Then a resource here, Passion for Justice. When you spin this card, to play a thwart event, it removes 1 additional threat. So another way to help you remove that threat there. And then we have Storm as a basic ally here, 5 costs, 2 thwart, 2 attack. Reduce the cost to play Storm by 1 if you have the mutant or X-Men trait. When Storm thwarts or schemes, move 2 threat from that scheme to another scheme, kind of helping you manipulate the schemes and making stuff not trigger if you want to make it not trigger. Then Psychic Report. This is a 2-cost event. When you have Cyclops and Phoenix, this is a team up. Ready Cyclops and Phoenix, choose to either return a Cyclops card from your discard pile to your hand or place 2 power counters on Phoenix Force. So allowing you to manipulate them the way that those characters kind of work. Then Cerebro is a 1-cost support. Play only if you have the mutant trait. Alter Ego action, exhaust Cerebro and search the top 5 cards of your deck for an X-Men ally. Search the entire deck instead if you control a psionic character and add that ally to your hand. So Cerebro just allows you to go through the entire deck and pull out an X-Men ally if you are Phoenix. That's pretty awesome. Then Downtime. This is one we've seen before. Alter Ego action, you get +2 recovery. So we have 3 of those. And then we have the new Strength, Genius, and Energy cards. And then Obligation. So normally I don't talk about these too much, but it's such a big deal with her character that I think I should mention it at least. If she's in an Unleashed form, she will bring out the Dark Phoenix. What is the Dark Phoenix, you ask? Dark Phoenix is basically a super strong nemesis that Phoenix has, which has 2 scheme, 2 attack, and then she has steady, toughness, and villainous. Villainous means that she also draws like boost cards like the actual villain does. And then when this Dark Phoenix schemes, place that threat on Consume the World if able. What's Consume the World? Well, when revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for set aside Consume the World and reveal it. So Consume the World is basically her side scheme where if there's no threat here, it loses the icon, but after threat is placed here, if there is at least 12 threat here, players lose the game. So Dark Phoenix gives you a new way to lose the game and is an extremely tough nemesis. So yeah, that's one of the big things about Phoenix. If Shadows of the Past comes out or her obligation comes out while she's in Unleashed, you can get super wrecked, which is an interesting aspect of Phoenix, that she's a really good character overall, but her Nemesis set can be terrifying. Let's take a look here at the extra cards that come in here. For aggression, you get a Psychic Assault, which is a 2-cost event. Play only if you have the Psionic trait. Deal 3 damage to the enemy. Confuse that enemy. I love it. And you get 3 of those, of course. Then Psychic Misdirection. Also play only if you have the Psionic trait. When the enemy attacks you, choose a different enemy. Damage from that attack is dealt to the chosen enemy instead. Awesome. So basically making people attack each other. Then a 0-cost event here, Psychic Kicker. Play only if you have the Psionic trait. Ready an ally. That ally gets +2 thwart and +2 attack for its next basic thwart and basic action phase. That is pretty cool. So allowing somebody to hit even harder. And then we have Soul Sisters. This is a team up for Storm and Phoenix. Ready Phoenix and Storm. Heal 2 damage from each of them. Awesome. And that is basically all we have in the Phoenix set there. Let's take a look at what I think. So for me, I really enjoyed Phoenix. I like the fact that she has this restrained and this unleashed side where it kind of like changes it up, and the fact that you can kind of use those as wild resources or use them as kind of resources during the game to be able to do stuff. But if she runs all the way out of them, then she becomes unleashed and it changes up her stats. So she has normally 3 thwart and 3 attack, but then that, or 1 attack, but then that'll switch up based on the fact that whether she's unleashed or restrained. And so like at the beginning of the game, she's really good at thwarting and being able to take out those side schemes, being able to keep stuff under control. But if you ever get to Unleashed, once you run out of those tokens on the card, you basically are super good at attacking. I mean, she has a lot of cards in her deck that are kind of good at both anyway, but it adds this interesting dynamic. But while you're Unleashed, if your obligation comes out, Dark Phoenix comes out, or if the Shadows of the Past comes out and that comes out, everything's just going to be worse for you if you're Unleashed. And basically when Dark Phoenix comes out, it's basically like a whole nother basically villain that you're fighting against. That's just a huge threat that has villainous, has toughness, has all sorts of stuff to just mess you up, and a new in-game condition like loss condition if the side scheme fulfills. All sorts of things can be messed up. I really enjoy the Phoenix deck. I like the fact that she has that trying to balance, like, when do you want to flip to Unleashed side? Do you want to try to mitigate how long you're in Unleashed? You can really do way more damage while you're Unleashed, but there's that always looming threat of Dark Phoenix coming out, which makes for an interesting dynamic. I think this is really fun and really good solo just because it's awesome to be able to do all the cool stuff. She has good stats, she has good cards that allow you to be able to take out threat and be able to do lots of damage in combat. But if Dark Phoenix comes out, you're in a whole lot of trouble, which just adds that interesting balance to the game. I really enjoy Dark Phoenix. I think it's a lot of fun. This is a deck that I think that I'm going to come back to again and again, and I think it's a lot of fun to play, especially since I enjoy playing at lower player counts anyway. I think she's fun. So yeah, check out Dark Phoenix. This is going to get a 9 for me. I really enjoy playing it. This is a deck that I would definitely grab if you're interested in playing at solo at all, or just want to have the interesting, unique deck of being able to do that Unleashed and then Phoenix stuff with having the Dark Phoenix come out and try to press your luck on if that's going to happen to you or not. Anyway, this has been Roy Cannaday. I hope you're enjoying Marvel Champions, and I hope you're playing lots of stuff. What villain are you most excited to play against out of the upcoming sets? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you on the next one.